Hi guys, Little Host here with yet another dank stream. I'm not actually sure if the microphone's working, because the last upload I did, it wasn't working. So today I was able to come off work home early. I was able to come home early. And what I did was just doing some stuff around the house. And I was trying to get a campaign going. But I think I'm going to jump back to Rome 2 and finish the other campaigns there.
To attack, my warriors! Prepare yourselves! Look to me in battle! Listen for your orders! Stick hard and fast to them! Only through discipline shall we win!
Keep on forgetting that this laptop's different, so I have to press the function button as well. Basically, I'm playing as the Franks, as you know, my favorite faction. The more you play with a faction, the more you realize the strengths and weaknesses. The Franks are very, very weird. Like every Barbarian Kingdom faction, they do focus on more of a later game approach. They are strong when transitioning into the late game from the middle game. The regular their roster is very strong in the mid game, but overall, you still want to have that defensive and shield wall in perspective. Now, I do make a number of terrible mistakes in this video, but you know, I'm getting rusty. As you can see, my opponent has 2 Nordic Horse Lords over here, whereas I have 2 Germanic Horsemen over here. You're going to see what happens next. They're using the forest to their advantage, but they're not playing as the Slavs, so they can't engage from there. In fact, I think even the Celts can engage from there. These 2 units are not hidden, so he's going to start moving up with his Nordic
Our ally is under attack from the enemy!
On this side, just shock cav fight.
The enemy has laid an ambush!
Obviously, the Viking Raider cav are going to lose because they are axe cav. However, at the same time, he's fighting against shock cav, so yeah. Over here, my opponent decides to go right in, try to take or push back my Germanic archers. Obviously, I'm going to counter with my own cavalry. I messed up the charge in the middle over here. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but I messed it up because I did it too late. And then over here, my Germanic horsemen will end up getting caught. I pushed my Germanic archers back, meaning they've done the damage they had to. I haven't used precision shot because his Huscarls haven't come up yet. These chosen warriors stopped because they got caught by the cav. Over here, this horseman's been caught, but I finally routed the spearmen, so I'm okay with moving them back. Throw my Francisca into these guys. The problem with the Franks is that this static battle line actually doesn't help them at all, because the Franciscas will be thrown in front and then they'll be thrown sometimes in a complete 180 angle, or 90-degree angle if you consider the front, the origin point. So it can be thrown all the way from here and then all the way from here, and that means your own men will end up getting caught too. Now that's not such a big deal because most of the time it will be going to your front, but when you have only one unit here and you're throwing precursors both ways, some of the times your unit's going to get caught anyway. Now, because he put up 2 chosen warriors against my 4 elite sword hairband and this unit of royal estraciones, which I should have stopped firing. You know, the 2 units got massacred. In theory, you think to yourself, oh, you know, it would be better to do it against the Huskarls. And that's true, but at the same time, you can't always, you know, do that. So he tries advancing with this unit of Huskarls. Unfortunately, this unit doesn't get into shield wall, so kind of messed up there. But I whittled this unit down just enough to make it less effective. But it will still win, because, you know, it's Huskarls. I should have moved this unit back. This unit was fine, but when you're going up against Huskarls, you want to have cavalry countercharge. I made the mistake here of not, or actually it wasn't that much of a mistake coming to think of it, because I was losing in the center. His Huskarls push up all the way to my archers.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a
And my
shameful
response
display.
here in the middle was too slow, so my Germanic warband will rout as well, without getting too much kills. His cav were late to respond. So you notice how they're throwing it sideways. Not completely 90-degree angle, but it's close enough. But it's funny because his Huskarls ended up getting massacred anyway. They were doing a pretty good job, but because he let me go into his back, it kind of countered, you know, his initiative. In theory, a better defensive line would be the noble Germanic swordsmen, because they're more cost effective. And all the while they don't have precursors, so all of their stats goes into either melee or their armor. These guys do have more armor, but it's only a difference of 12. So against axes it doesn't really matter, and so you want that defense, and the noble Germanic swordsmen do have the defense. I should have put headhunt on these guys when I saw them wavering, but I think I didn't because they didn't actually break. Anyway, my opponent, my ally's opponent over here was starting his attack. He's going up against a bunch of Gothic Palatina defectors. I start to move my cavalry up, or what remains of it. Then I think I'll end up moving my sword hairband as well. I moved this unit of royal estraciones over here. Now, in a fight like this, you'd think that the Gothic Palatina defectors would lose, but because of the numbers and the fact that the Viking Raiders do have precursors, being their version of the throwing axe. I think he got a double charge there. Yeah, he did. So I'm not the only person who, you know, will stop in the middle and then charge again. I didn't even notice that. But that's actually going to punish him. This is going to punish this unit right here because he got intercepted. I think what he did was he switched targets, and that's why he got the double shot. But because he moved, he has to take a penalty of I think 20 or 30 seconds according to KV rules. But yeah, around this time I'm just trying to shoot at range, you know, his units. Chosen warriors are very tough to beat, you know, when you're playing against the Franks and you're using their roster. The only thing, as you saw, that could beat them is the Francisca, which is their version of the throwing axe. What would have worked for them in a situation like this is definitely I didn't even notice the Viking captain had throwing axes as well. I think they're the only general that has it now. And he double charged again right there, but now he's in trouble.
We have gained the upper hand!
And yeah, around this point the battle was coming to an end. Late game right now. Still have my Germanic spearman because of the fact that he wasted his cav on my flanks. It's funny because these chosen warriors could have actually beaten the Gothic Palatine defectors because of the armor difference. But just because of how he used them, it kind of didn't turn out anyway.
And running for their lives.
Over here, same thing, but they're going to lose because of the shock cav.
The enemy general is dead!
And yeah, that's basically it. This general didn't die, but the general, or maybe he did. No, he didn't. The Danish general didn't die. The opponent I was up against died. But yeah, not the best way you want to use the Norsemen. You know, their mid game is very strong. Their armor supports this. Their offense and defensive abilities support this as well. The fact that they have the strongest double axes is out of the question when it comes to mid-game potential, but it is very important to have them as they can push you into a good late game. But I'm not a big fan of the Jutes, so I wouldn't play them as much.
Privilege to fight with you today. One and all, and we shall show the enemy the power of their...
So my ally is playing as the White Huns this time, bringing a similar build of who are warriors and steppe tribes people. One Exionite spears. It's funny because I'm actually planning on using only horse archers as a cavalry force, because I know that the one second. Okay, let's continue. So they brought a lot more cav this time. This could have easily been beaten by Jav cav. Don't know why nobody wants to bring Jav cav anymore. I brought Germanic archers because I was anticipating I'd be fighting at range against the Ostrogoths. This time I wasn't. They had 3 Germanic mounted warbands over here to support. So I made a decision to aim for the Gothic warband instead of the Germanic hurlers. Decided to push up as well. I probably should have started pushing up with my berserkers, but seeing his spears and then used my cavalry offensively. But the problem is that because this unit of noble Swabi swordsmen was hidden, my Germanic spearmasters were the next to get aimed at, and of course my archers are too close. So I should have moved back and then aimed for the hurlers. What happened now is that his hurlers are going to start massacring my Germanic archers. Over on this side, obviously main fight, could have made this a lot easier. The blacksmiths could have made it a lot easier for themselves. But instead they did not. So, if you didn't know by now, I'm playing as the Vandals. I'm using a very offensive build. Not your ideal Russian build. Somewhat close. I'm using a very a known late game unit.
Enemy units have been rallied.
So I decided to switch targets because I know I'm getting beat pretty bad. Did some damage to the Gothic warband, but they're too far for me to actually kite the hurlers. So I put these guys in shield wall as well so they don't take too much damage. They have a lot of armor anyway, so it wouldn't matter. I'm still trying to aim for them. Can't aim for the Thracian wolf swarms because they're too far.
The enemy are ambushing us!
So he starts to get into range.
Men are broken and are fleeing!
Ended up going to spear wall. Probably forgot that I had this unit here. Goes there. He actually charged my cavalry without me noticing, but because Alani horsemen are stronger, it worked in my favor. He starts to push up with his Gothic warband.
The unit is running from the
Obviously,
enemy.
this is perfect for me because my noble swordsmen are in the middle anyway, so this will work. His Germanic spearmen are getting massacred, obviously. I think I used my berserkers over here, or maybe I used it against the Gothic warband, I can't remember. But I was microing over here and over here as well. He's trying to get my cavalry over here.
Men.
I have one noble Alani and then a Alani horseman.
Some of the men have gone berserk.
Berserkers go berserk over here. Not a big deal. I'm able to rout the Gothic warband in the center. Hold off his Germanic mounted warband here. Start to push up with my Germanic warbands. they're obviously going to win because they got a very clean charge in. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my side. Thracian Oathsworns are gonna have an easy day beating my berserkers, but at the same time they went into the hurlers, which helps.
The enemy are losing ground.
So I still have my 2 Germanic warbands over here. I decided to use my general to hold down his general in Germanic mounted warbands while I fight his general over here.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
Gets intercepted right here. Put my noble swiftly swordsman to fight against these guys. Waste his precursors, killing one last berserker. Just as he slides one, another unit of berserkers comes in. Obviously,
their general is dead.
Didn't micro that very well. Gets intercepted.
The men are running, cowards.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very clean and fast. Obviously I'm not very happy with the White Hun's choice, but it is what it is. Thanks guys so much for watching, and hopefully I get to upload more stuff in the future. Bye guys.